Thank you for listening today on Revealing Wholeness, sponsored by Infinity Whole Health. Check out our website at infinityWholeHealth.com, where we are revealing the eternal in each individual, the infinite in the individual. The creativity is made manifest. Limitation is let go. Now, here's your host, Dr. Troy Munson.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness. This particular podcast I've been working on for a while now. And, if you've read the title and it piqued your interest, if maybe you feel weak, maybe you feel scared, maybe you feel afraid, and you really want to know how peace could possibly be your strength. And I want to unpack that in a way that is meaningful to you, but that will also hit it home so that you truly understand what that means. And part of the building blocks, we have to set a foundation typically for that kind of an idea to take hold. And the first foundation block that I want to stand on is that, is God going to be shocked when you go to heaven? Is he going to be surprised? Or is he going to look at his watch and he's going to say, right on time? Because does he know everything? Is he outside of time? He is. He knows exactly when you're going to get there. Now, that may seem fatalistic, as in your life is fated to have certain things happen to you. And that I'm not so sure is true, but I will tell you that the moment of birth and the moment of death, I believe, is known. And if you believe that may be different, I think there's a fair amount of scripture out there that would back that the truth of it is that God is not shocked when you enter his kingdom. And so, with that in mind, could we just do anything? Oh, well, then I could just go jump off a building because apparently I'm going to survive. Unless that's your time. So, it's kind of a laughing situation about, okay, well then now what? Well, it means also that we shouldn't be so tied up in everything that we're going to do and be afraid. So you've heard me say in other podcasts, the truth is always true. And you've probably also heard me say that the truth needs no defense, which is also true. You don't need to defend the truth. It's there. But because there is so much lies that exist in our world and so much half-truths, because if something's half-true, it's actually a lie. So there's so much half-truths and so much crazy stuff out there that people believe that oftentimes it is helpful to defend the truth by denying error. And so I want to give you a couple examples. So I had someone I was talking with and they said, well, what kind of truths can I stand on? And they said, I said, what truths do you have right now? And they said, well, the sky is blue. I said, well, is the sky blue? Or is it refracting a certain wavelength of light through mist and we perceive it as blue? Well, the latter's true because the sky ain't blue. It's black. And so we can say the sky is blue. Well, yes, when we look up, that is blue. And if we want to call it the sky, yes, we could define it carefully enough to say that. But is the sky actually blue? Can we pull down a substance and say, here is the sky, and yes, indeed, it's blue? No, we really can't. We can just say that light refracts through it, shining that blue color. And, the next thing, this is going to be a bit more of a stretch for some of you, but here's another one. You hurt my feelings. Now I'm going to tell you that, and I'm going to promise you, and if those of you out there listening to this, you could email me a nasty email, and I will still not be harmed. And you have not hurt me with your words. And so I want to let you know that you are safe being able to tell me whatever you want to tell me. I will not be harmed by it. So what does that mean that you hurt my feelings? Well, let's say you call me ugly. And if I believe that I'm ugly, then I'm actually going to agree with you, and now I'm going to decide to be offended and hurt. But if I think for a moment, you know what? It really doesn't matter what I look like. Some people are going to like how I look. Some people are going to think I'm handsome. Some people are going to think I'm ugly. People are going to think I'm a dog. I don't know. But do I really care? It's just their opinion. Now, I can choose to be hurt by that comment or opinion, or I can dismiss it as an untruth. So, these are things that are going to stretch you. I'm going to give you another one just to stretch you a little bit further, that seatbelts save lives. Well, if we go back to our bedrock and say God ain't shocked when you get to his doorstep, then do seatbelts save lives? Now, I'll get a lot of people that argue with me on this one, and I don't mind at all. I'm not hurt by their arguments. Once again, I just know that seatbelts don't save lives. Now, might they save some pain and suffering? They might. But ultimately, if I'm not supposed to be hurt in a motor vehicle accident, it ain't mattering how hard you hit me. It'll be miraculous. But I ain't supposed to be hurt. So, with that in mind, some of you out there, if that kind of tested you a little bit, got you hot under the collar, I could say I'm sorry, or you could email me and say, I just disagree. And I encourage you to do that if that is freeing to you. And it alleviates you of some pressure. And maybe right now you're feeling a little bit of hatred towards me because I'm pointing out this and you don't like it because maybe you've based some of what you're going on in life around this thing that is true for you that maybe I've mentioned. And for that, I would rather you move beyond that and realize I have some modicum of control on what I believe and the truth that I allow and the lies that I allow in my head. Because they're there to your detriment. Any lie that you believe is not there to benefit you. Think about that. Some of you have heard the saying, where your treasure is, your heart will be always. And those of you of Bible scholars for sure have heard that. Some of you have never picked up a Bible may have heard that. That's a biblical verse. And it is very true. What we value, we place, at the top of the list. And so if I followed any one of you around and started watching what you do, the words that come out of the hole under your nose, and anything else that you participate in, I would inevitably find out what you believe in, and I could tell you what your beliefs are by what you do and what you hold with great importance. But ultimately, I want you to understand that most of our beliefs stem from fear. When we become afraid, we now start looking around to substantiate our fear, but also to alleviate. It's really strange. When we are afraid of anything, we are acknowledging its power that it could possibly hurt us. And so as you become stronger and stronger mentally and realize who you are more deeply, you realize nothing can hurt you because nothing can hurt you. Now, let me put in a little caveat here for some of you out there that are maybe not so spiritually bent and are listening to this. Bodies do hurt other bodies. That is not within or outside of question. They do. But ultimately, who you are as a spiritual being can never be hurt because that was solidified by God himself when he created you. And what he creates is permanent, changeless, and forever one with him. You cannot change what he created, or then we would definitely be in a very fearful situation. So if we're going to look around this world of lies and half-truths and partialities, we're going to find lots of things that we could be afraid of if we're only looking through the body's eyes. But our job is to take our view off of the body and start looking more eternally. Because if all we are doing is looking through the body, like I've said, it becomes a very fearful place. Because this body is going away for all of us. And so if you haven't dealt with that truth, then it's time to hit it head on and begin to start a foundation with under your own feet, so to speak, spiritually, that you can now begin to count on better and better. And so anything that denies the ability of anything not of God to affect you is good. I'll say it again. Anything that denies the ability of anything that is not of God to affect you is good. Only God can affect you. If we think about God, he is the original cause. He caused everything. And you are his effect. He does not leave you high and dry, by the way. You always remain one with him forever and ever. And that cannot be changed. You cannot separate you from God, which is great. And so with that comes a great amount of peace. And when we have that level of peace, we realize our strength is in that because we begin to be bold. We begin to realize that, hey, I can soften my approach to this world, even onto my infirmities that the body has that are not necessarily me because it's just a body. And so as we do that, when a will is really free, it cannot miscreate either. When I create a lie in my own head and I try to perpetrate that on you, I tell you my beliefs and say, oh, seatbelts save lives. And you say, well, maybe they do. And so now we've perpetuated that idea by sharing it and growing it in strength. But if I start to pull away my belief from that and say, you know what, I know seatbelts that have actually put people in their seat, and because they couldn't move out of their seat, their steering wheel went through their chest and killed them. So actually that seatbelt didn't allow them to get out of the way and actually was their demise. And so now we can kind of say, okay, I'm starting to see belief systems, and I realize that I don't want to miscreate anymore. I want to truly free up my will and give it back to the one who created it, and let him help lead me through this amazing life of peace, of abundance, of joy, of happiness that he really wanted for me in the first place, and not all these fearful things that seem to be running around in the media and posters that we see around that we believe, until we throw a little bit of scrutiny at it and realize that might be true within the body's realm, but not within a spiritual realm, which is my eternity. And so I want to give you that kind of little idea as we grow peace today a little bit more and start sounding off these truths and growing our inner strength, which is always founded on bedrock, which God put there in the beginning. So for those of you, I hope that helped. I hope that kind of shedded some things. I hope you let go of some things. If you had some struggle with this, email me. Let me know. If it really helped you in a difficult time, I would love to know that too. So please communicate with me and let me know. That's always a wonderful thing to let somebody know that you really helped me pull through this. Because as you grow in truth, I grow too. We help each other in sharing truthful ideas, not lies that the world tends to perpetrate. So until next time, I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness.
Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach Dr. Munson at 360-893-8586 or email him at chiroman@dr.com. That's chiroman@dr.com. Check out our current workshop schedule on Facebook at Infinity Whole Health.